Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Gabe Show. My name is Gabe Mendoza, and sorry, haven't really done a video in a long time. Just had a lot going on. I think the last video I put out was in, I want to say October, because November my mom ended up getting married. My daughter's birthday. I had Thanksgiving. I think there was something else. I don't know. Then December came around. I ended up getting COVID. I survived. I'm alive. So, having to cough, not being able to talk, having to always clear my throat, blow my nose, sneeze, whatever the case may be, it took weeks for that to go away. So that was another reason why I didn't put anything out. But now it is January 2021, and I'm like, you know what? We got to do what I got to do. I got to put something out. I got to start getting on this whole YouTube thing that I sought out to start. And I kind of gave it up because I was like, eh. But I watch a lot of videos, and they're like, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And for me, even right now, I wasn't going to do it, but the kids aren't here, and I got some time, so I was like, you know what? Let's set it up. So then, even just setting it up, the camera, making sure I have batteries, the recorder, putting up the mic, a table, setting up. Oh, I got another a new RGB light that's in the back for the putting that red color in the back. My light, my stand, the other RGB light that I have, lighting that up. Currently, I got I got my fan on, and I hope that's not really picking up on this mic. But that's it, guys. I'm back. So hopefully, I can keep putting up more from here on, and we'll see. We'll try to do either one or two episodes a week at least. Excuse me. And just ate some ceviche earlier, but yeah, what did I want to talk to you guys about? There was something. Oh gosh, I don't know. We're 3 days away from the election, or from the inauguration. Still don't know who. I don't even know who the hell's our president right now. Currently is Donald Trump. But with all the conspiracy theorists and all the other stuff going on, you don't know if we just don't know what the hell's going to happen in the next few days. On on Wednesday right now, it's Sunday the 6th. Today's 16th. Today's the 17th. January the 16th, 17th, Sunday. Packers are going to the NFC Championship. Whoop whoop. I'm a Packers fan, guys. Go Pack, go green and gold, all green and yellow all day long. So that's really exciting. Now they play the Bucks next week. And it was really weird because I'm an EMT. The update on my accident I told you guys a few weeks ago. All I got was I'm on a final now. They wanted to try to put me through EVOC and maybe even possibly fire me, but my union, I don't really know exactly what happened, but one of our supervisors come and said, hey, we're just going to give you a final write-up. And I was like, cool, I'll take it. I don't mind. Whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm back. Totally got a new attitude adjustment towards work because of, they've been salty and bitter. And I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm not trying to do all this. But for whatever reason, now I'm just like, it's an attitude change. I sat there and had had to look deep within and you're like, what? I just got to fix my attitude. That's exactly what it is. So now work has been a lot better. It got really crazy up here the week before Christmas and the week of Christmas. That was when I was out with COVID, or I don't know. So here's the thing: I get sick once a year, every year, and every wintertime or every flu season I get sick. I'm out for like 5 days. Fever, chills. I had nasal congestion, headache, body aches. I had all that. Didn't lose my taste of sensor smell. Taste or smell. I wish I did, because everyone apparently that did have their taste go away. I've lost like 10 pounds, and I fucking gained 10 pounds when I was on COVID. So that sucked. But then those 2 weeks that I was out, I got sick. Well, I was feeling sick, and prior to that, I went like 2 weeks with like an itch in my throat. So the week before I went out, I was wearing my mask a lot. And prior to that, I was never really wore my mask with me and my partner on the rig. And he was making fun of me, like, "Hey man, why do you have your mask on? Are you scared?" Excuse me. I was like, "No, man, I'm just afraid if I do get something, I'm afraid of getting you sick and you taking it home to someone else, So that was the only thing I'm really worried about, is getting other people sick. But now Well, when I had it, I was wearing my mask, and then he had hit me up the weekend before our shift, and he was like, "Hey, man, I just got tested. I'm sick. I'm positive. I'm out for 2 weeks, paid." And so I got jealous. I was like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna get tested because I feel sick." Went and got tested. Our company sends us down to one of our divisions in Redlands. I got tested, and they were like, "All right, you're positive. Take it back to supervisor." So I took it back to my supervisor, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm out 2 weeks paid." So it was cool. Got a full paycheck, just chilling at the house. But it wasn't really chilling. I mean, I was sick for 5 days, and after that, I kind of, wasn't really 100% to go back to work. I could have, but I wasn't 100% to go back to work. So the most difficult thing I had, I mean, there was nights I was wearing socks, sweaters, sweater, sweats, a beanie. I had really bad cold chills, like really, really bad chills. There was one time I was in the restroom getting ready to take a shower, and as I was waiting for my water to warm up, I mean, the amount of shaking that I was doing, it was ridiculous. I just started laughing because I was like, I can't control it. I don't know what to do. Jumped in the hot shower, put all my clothes on, jumped in bed, heater blanket going like nonstop for those few days. Those 5 days that I was really sick. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and Tylenol every day. Then I also made my sick tea, with garlic and what is it, like a bunch of spices and some lemon, orange. I think it's just a bunch of stuff like that. I had it in there. I was drinking that, making sure I drink that every day, as much as I could, just so I can help kick this. But those 2 weeks that I was out, apparently it was really bad up here because we're up here in the high desert, like Victorville, Apple Valley, and apparently St. Mary's, one of the hospitals I transport to, they were on I don't know, was it 20? I don't know, one of these. It made national news. They had TV cameras there and stuff like that. And then one of my buddies, one of the other EMTs that I work with, he made it onto the Washington Post. They took a picture of him, put him in the Washington Post, and it was pretty cool. So, but luckily I was out, and it was hell. I mean, hospitals were jam packed, people were sick, and it's mainly because you get people that they're afraid. Since March when this pandemic started, nobody really none of us knew what was going on. So, a lot of people that I respond on, it's panic, it's fear, it's uncertainty. You go, run a call, and people are afraid. I'm sick. News said I'm gonna die. Numbers are up. I need to go to the hospital. And it's like, dude, you just fucking stay home. And that's why you get a lot of these hospitals jam packed. Now, I'm not downplaying the virus in any way, shape, or form. I've seen a bunch of it. I've seen people die. I've transported some really sick people. The iffy thing that kind of gets a lot of us all jacked up over this is the numbers. A lot of these numbers aren't what they say they are. A lot of the hospitals are just testing for COVID right off the back as soon as a patient comes in because they're getting money. And it's just that it cleared up for a while, summertime, it all cleared up. And then when flu season hit, we already knew, a lot of us are at work, we're like, flu season's going to hit, it's going to get bad because once again, we always have, people are going to get sick in the flu, and then people are going to roll through, and here it goes again. Everyone's sick, everyone's dying, this, that. So they got hit pretty hard. And now that I've been back the last few weeks, I've been back for about a month, and it's just slowly just going back to normal. And it's cool. A lot of the people went to the hospital, got it, and that's it. There is sick people I've transported. I'll tell you guys a story in a second about this really sick person I transported. But I responded on a call about a week ago, and it was for a 17-year-old male experiencing flu-like symptoms, nausea, vomiting, and we get there on scene, and right off the back, fire had beat us to this call, so they're there, and they're doing their thing. They're getting the patient, 17-year-old boy, getting him on their monitor. They're getting vitals, and everything's fine. We walk into this house, dad's in the driveway. He's sitting by the car crying. We walk in there. Mom's an overweight woman sitting on the couch, and house is pretty much dirty. She just got to say that she let her son, he just ate some hot dogs or something for dinner. So I was like, okay, well, and his stomach didn't agree with it, so now he's throwing up. But they're afraid that COVID, because they have the TV on with the news playing, and we get there and it's like, okay, they're watching the news. Mom's, pretty much dead weight on the couch. House is dirty because she's not cleaning it. 17-year-old boy really doesn't give a shit because cleaning his house is the last thing he wants to do. And then you got dad that's blind that can't see a dirty house, so he don't give a shit. So we're there on this call, and son, kid's right there, just kind of holding his stuff, but he's talking and he's fine, this and that. And then you got us in there, trying to tell the mom, hey, it's okay, this is normal. We'll take you to the hospital, but he's not. He really doesn't. This is more of abdominal pain more than anything because of what he ate. It's not COVID symptoms, and they're right away. They're because he's got nausea, vomiting. The first thing is, aren't these symptoms of COVID? And it's just like, man, these aren't. This has to do with what he ate, not with what's going on. So dad walks in. I'm explaining to him like, hey man, they already agreed. Okay, we don't want to go to the hospital. So all right, cool, just sign here and we'll take off. And I ended up talking to dad on the way out, and he's crying. He's like, that's my only son, this and that. I'm like, hey man, just because you have this or you have these symptoms doesn't mean you're gonna die. Doesn't mean your son's gonna die. I was like, you guys watch the news all day long, huh? He's like, yeah, we watch it. I was like, just turn it off. And I tell 90%, literally every patient that I talk to, I'm like, turn off your TV, go outside, hang out with your family, turn off the TV, because it's, when you watch the news, they don't really share anything good. The majority of what news tells you is all bad. Someone died, some kind of car accident, someone got robbed, they got shot, this person got hurt, killed, whatever the case may be, hurricanes, this and that. It's nothing good. You watch it, it's all depressing and it's stressful. So I always tell people, just shut it off. You don't need it on. Just shut it off and go about your life. So that's literally like 90% of the calls we've been running the last few months. It's just that, and then you get your other calls. Just the normal random stuff. But for the most part, when you go into a COVID call or you go into something like that, people are just scared. And that's what one thing I've learned is throughout this whole, since March, people are scared. And people don't know how to deal with this or deal with it. So they call 911 because they feel they're going to die. I've been to like the COVID units in some of the hospitals, and you got a lot of sick people in there that are sitting on chairs or sitting in a bed. Some are getting antibiotics, some are getting oxygen, and some are just sitting there sick because they got sick, they need to go to the hospital. When the majority of all those, there's a lot of people that are in those units that can be at home sleeping or resting or just, staying at home doing what they can do at home. Instead, they're inside a big unit with a bunch of other sick people breathing in with all their sneezes and their coughs and everything else. So that's one thing that I've learned through all this. If people just, prior to the pandemic, everybody got sick. A lot of us got sick. And what did you do? You stayed home until you felt better. You rested until you got better. But now I feel that because people are using the word quarantine a lot and they're throwing that around, we were basically doing that without using the word quarantine. We just stayed home, rested. Now they're using quarantine. I think that's getting a lot of people scared. There's a lot of just keywords that are just psychologically messing with people. Pandemic, quarantine, death, just normal stuff that we've dealt with forever. And then all of a sudden now people are terrified of them, or they just don't know how to react to it, or people don't know how to deal with it anymore. So that's just something that I've noticed throughout this. And a lot of these people, when they show up there, they're taking up a bed, they're taking up a chair, they're taking up resources, they're using this, they're using that. Now, I'm not downplaying any of their symptoms. People are, if they can't deal with it, they show up and get it. But for the most part, people could just stay at home and be rested and be back. When I was sick, I was like, you know what? I'm sick. I don't feel good. There was a few times I was like, man, it's really difficult to breathe. But I was like, I'm not going to get scared. I'm not going to let any of that bother me, because I know to me, it was just a flu. For me at least. And that's all it was. It was just a flu. My brother, he got sick. He had COVID pneumonia. They threw COVID in there, but he had to go to the hospital and get some antibiotics. And then that was it. No, I'm not downplaying any of his symptoms. I'm not downplaying, I don't downplay what anybody's getting through. But if a lot of people these days had just stepped up and just kind of like, you know what, I'm sick, let me just stay home and rest. Instead of just, fuck, I got to go to the hospital. I'm sick, I'm going to die. Call 911, do this. And then on top of it, they call 911. You're sick, you don't need to call 911. There's plenty of people that I've transported because they're COVID, or they think they're COVID. And then we get to the hospital. And oh gosh, I hope I'm recording for this. We get to the hospital, and they are just, they're dying, they're dramatic on scene. But when we get to the hospital, after talking to them for a while, they're fine. And they're like, okay, yeah, I can stand, I can do this, I can do that. I'm like, you couldn't do that shit when we were at your house. But now we didn't do anything for you. We didn't give them oxygen. We literally got their vitals, transported them, get them into the hospital, get them in the unit. Before we get them to bed, I'm sitting there talking to them, having a conversation with them. Full on sentences, no oxygen. They're not working for breath. They're not, they're fine. It's just they're dramatic. They needed that. A lot of people these days right now need that comfort or that assurance that you're going to be okay. And it's fine. I get it, but people are just so dramatic. And I think if, like I said, if people just fucking grab their nuts and just be, or whatever it is, just get through it. Just, you'll get through it. But because all these people taking up beds, I transported a patient. I think she was like 7-year-old female from her house. We walk into her house and right away she's working for air, I was like, okay, cool. This looks like COVID. Like, this looks like she's sick. Get her on the monitor, setting in the 70s. So if you guys don't know what that means we have this little pulse ox that goes on your finger, and it monitors the oxygen levels that are inside your blood. Hers, a normal person for us is basically 90 and above, but for her, she was in the 70s, and she's breathing like her respirations per minute were through the roof, and she's working really hard. So we get there, we check her out. She can't move. We got to get her on a mega mover, get her onto our gurney. And as we're doing that, we can see the blotchiness in her skin, the modeling. So I've never seen that personally. So I'm looking at like, oh man, what the hell is that? My partner's like, oh, it's modeling, or the blotchiness in the skin because there's not enough oxygen. She's not getting enough oxygen. I was like, dude, I've never seen that. And he was like, that's a really bad case. That's like a really severe case that he's seen before. So we loaded her up, got her in the back of our unit, and we went to the hospital. Get to the hospital, and there's no beds. Literally, there was not. I mean, there was prior to this pandemic. I've grabbed a patient, put her in the back of our rig, got her on CPAP, go through the hospital, get there, rush her straight to a bed. There's a team of people waiting for her. You got RTs, nurses, you got the doctor, you got techs, you got everybody right there. Boom, working on her, or her or him. Do what they got to do. If they got tube him or her, whatever they got to do. But there'd be a bed waiting for them as soon as we get there. This time we got to the hospital. That patient sat on our gurney on CPAP for an hour and like 40 minutes before we can get her to bed because there was no beds. And it wasn't that we got to the hospital and they're like, okay, we're moving people around, we're doing this, we're doing that. She sat for an hour 40 minutes, and her O2 sats went from like 70s to 60s. I think it went up to the 80s at one point, but literally there was a few times I was right there. I gloved up, and I was like, here we go. She's about to dump, and I got to start doing chest compressions. She wasn't really, man, it was bad. It was sad. And that sucked because you're just sitting there and you're just like, oh, man, what the hell? Like, why is she suffering so bad? And it sucks because, for a lot of us, we get desensitized and we're just kind of like, oh, hey, death, oh, this person's not going to make it. Right away, we look at people like, fuck, they're going to die, And then just watching this person struggle. And I was like, man, that's someone's mom. That's someone's aunt, sister, daughter, whatever the case may be. And she just sit there struggling for air. And eventually she came to on scene. She was like ANO1. She only knew her name. She couldn't answer. She couldn't give me the year, the president, the month, the day, anything like that. So we get her in the back of the rig once we, gave her, when she was getting higher, more O2 and stuff like that. She was able to go ANO3. She was able to answer three questions. And that was about it. That's as much as she got. And then she kind of just dumped after that. I mean, just went back to being altered. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's the really shitty part about that. There's times that there's no beds, and I've never had to experience that until now. That was the first time I experienced not being able to get my patient in a bed that needed a bed. Usually, we've somehow, some way got them in beds, but we didn't. That patient had to wait forever on like uncomfortable gurneys that have, the pads on our gurneys are like that thick, and she had to sit. She was a thicker lady, and she had to sit there on that gurney for an hour 40 minutes. So I know her back was hurting, or her tailbone is hurting. Everybody's does. Excuse me. Finally got her to bed, and that sucked. And you just kind of get mad because when I was walking to her, when we finally got to bed, and I was walking through the hallways to get her to a bed, they have like all the psych patients sitting in the back. or like down the hallway on beds, just laying there having a good old time, bunch of food and juices and this and that. And I'm like, I was like, fuck that, like fuck these people. Like, I don't care what they're not dying. They're just sitting there because a lot of them don't want to live anymore. If that's the case, put them in a chair, give these beds to people that need it. And there was one of the guys that I passed. He's a regular. I transported him multiple times. He's just sitting there, comfortable on a nice bed that could have been gone to this patient that's dying or someone else. And it sucks because a lot of people that we transport, when their families there, a lot of families like rush into the house and give them hugs and kisses, tell them they love them. That's the last time some of those people are going to sit there and tell them they love them. That's the last time they're going to see them alive. And it sucks. It's a weird feeling because you're just like, driving to the hospital, or me and my partner are talking after the call, and we're just like, dude, she's going to die, And family that was there just kind of, saying their goodbyes, telling you love them. And because hospitals aren't allowing any visitors right now, so that's a really crappy part. There's a lot of people dying alone. And I was one to be like, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. Trust me. I still question a lot of this stuff. But certain cases like that, when you see it firsthand, you're just kind of like, oh, that sucked. So, I don't know. That's all I'm going to give you guys today. Give you guys, I don't know when I'll do the next episode. I'll try to do one or two a week. Try to figure this all out. Got the light, got a new light in. It's a little, where's this thing at? It's kind of cool. I like it. Holy moly, that's hot. But yeah, guys, if you guys like what you guys see, you guys want to see some more, like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and I will be back as soon as possible, guys. God bless you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.